Hello, everybody. This is Elihu.
And this is Pete. Peter
and
Pete.
you're listening to
Pineapple Chunks.
Pineapple Chunks. That's right.
Jesus, that was slow, bro. Well, let's start off with a quote by Kevin Costner, because we're gonna be talking about Bitcoin, Elon Musk, and all the black swan events that are happening. And it starts off like this. I usually know when I'm onto something when I'm a little bit afraid of it. I go, wow, it could mess this up.
That's very applicable to a lot of things, especially crypto, which is today's topic, where in a industry that's so volatile and where it's so nascent, and yet it's still progressing at a very rapid pace, it's very easy to think, wow, this is so great. I could probably mess this up very easily, somehow, in one way or another.
And I think that's what Elon Musk thought when he was pumping Dogecoin and Bitcoin, or prior to that. You know, I think he was definitely considering the fact that these are crazy things that are happening, and it would be kind of funny if the joke would become the actual currency. And like Dogecoin, but Bitcoin's a little bit more legitimate. I mean, we just recently saw with this, Tesla bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and will accept as payment soon.
Notice how he didn't buy $1.5 billion in Dogecoin, the coin that he's been tweeting about and shilling and just promoting left and right for the past few days. Maybe as a distraction so he can buy the dip lower in Bitcoin. Who knows? But Tesla buying $1.5 billion in Bitcoin is a great sign for the world of crypto in terms of moving into a more regulated, more sophisticated space of acceptance, because Tesla is in the S&P 500, right? And they are a very renowned company. They're very in the media. So for them to acquire this asset and to put it on their balance sheet is huge. It is going to lead the way for other companies to be comfortable into also investing into Bitcoin as an asset on their balance sheet, which will only ultimately drive the price of Bitcoin even higher. I mean, today we saw the high of $47,000 per Bitcoin. That is about half a Tesla. You can buy about 2 Tesla. No, you can buy. How much is a Tesla right now? It's like
I think between 30 or 40,000 to 120,000 or something like that.
Okay, so you can buy the lower tier Teslas, but to get like a Roadster, you probably need 2 Bitcoin.
$46,000 is the price right now.
Amazing. Just amazing. I mean, it's almost going to reach a $1 trillion market cap, which is huge. $1 trillion is a lot. You know, we usually just shoot millions and billions of numbers out here on the pod, but 1 trillion is something we rarely come by.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And nonetheless, you know, I think Elon Musk has taken a bigger thought process involved. Like, he's thinking big in a sense, and he's investing and betting on prosperity, not on depression. And I think there have been many experienced investors who have been calling this a bubble, saying that this isn't legitimate and whatever. But now the world's richest man, at least in American standards, is investing in Bitcoin, and his company is bought, allegedly, right? I mean, we don't really know 100% if they did it or not, but we're going to take their word for it. Allegedly bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And so that being said, these are very positive signs for the currency in and of itself. I mean, it gives the currency value, it gives it trust, and, you know, I mean,
a lot of trust. I mean, this is as legitimate as it could ever be. This is the most legitimate Bitcoin has been taken in its whole existence. I mean, This is like branding yourself with like a very embarrassing, you know, character. This is legit. This is iron pressed. Like, this is not going away, and it's only a matter of time before other larger companies, hopefully in the S&P 500, follow suit. So
I mean, but people like us already understood the value of Bitcoin. We knew like why it worked. And if you're listening to this podcast, then you're definitely interested in why it works. And Elon Musk just kind of pushed the envelope there with this investment. And, you know, for those of you who kind of get the picture of what Bitcoin is, but don't fully understand, I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is it is so efficient and so non-manipulatable that in and of itself gives it an advantage over the US dollar or any other currency that's managed by a government, because their regulation process is slow, it's bureaucratic, and ultimately not as effective as you would find in something like a mathematical procedure such as Bitcoin.
And in a time where the US dollar is looking to be less and less valuable, looking more into the future, as inflation becomes more apparent, this couldn't have been more of an excellent time to buy Bitcoin as a large company that Tesla is. I mean, they are valued at around $800 billion. So pretty good moves. Maybe I'd say a little too late on Elon's part, but I'm sure he has been thinking about it for quite some time, and he just now decided to make a move. I remember recently hearing Kathy Wood talk about how if all the companies in the S&P 500 were to put 10% of their assets into Bitcoin, that the price would go up $450,000. And I thought to myself, that's probably going to take some time. But a week later, here we are today. Tesla just announced that they are in Bitcoin. So pretty great news.
Pretty silly how it'd only be 450 grand though.
Well, that's not considering the people that would probably be in Bitcoin already beforehand. So
let's take a look at this pump though. I mean, Elon Musk has been pumping Dogecoin, and you know, he hasn't come out and said he bought Dogecoin, but it definitely is funny. And he's doing things at the same time with SpaceX, you know, getting to Mars and whatever, and it's big stuff. I mean, it's not even whatever; it's huge. And you know, interviewing the CEO of Clubhouse, I mean, the CEO of Robinhood on Clubhouse, like he's making moves, and he's very relevant with the times. And you know, one would argue that he might be, in one way of his psychology, doing things for the people. And
I like to think so. I think in the past he's done things for the people. It just hasn't been as direct. But I think this time it's very genuine and transparent that he is helping us out. I think with Dogecoin even specifically, he's just like, let's pump this coin. Let's make some people rich.
Right. I mean, and still, like, even if he has ill intentions, I mean, these are just the best results that you know, people who believe in this alternative method of currency.
Dude, side note, Clubhouse actually just got banned in China. I don't know if you heard. Yeah.
I didn't hear that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's true. They just banned Clubhouse in China, which kind of makes sense, but just wanted to add that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's hard to censor audio and track who's talking about what.
The people's voice. It's hard to, yeah. Especially with like AI generation nowadays. You can, yeah. Anyway.
But what about the crypto space? I mean, Elon Musk has brought so much attention to Bitcoin, but when you bring attention to a behemoth like Bitcoin, you also bring attention to other cryptocurrencies like Etherum and Filecoin, which I know you guys haven't heard of. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before, and Cardano. We haven't mentioned this on the show either, but it's under the ticker ADA right here. That's a ticker. If any of you who don't know what a ticker is, that is the little symbol that says, like, for example, Apple is AAPL on the stock market. That's how you identify them. Now, in the cryptocurrency space, it's the same thing, except that it doesn't play with, you know, our little monopoly money.
Right, and I'm a Cardano maximalist. A few of you have asked me about Cardano, and I've told you to get in before. It's raised a huge amount of capital over the past 2 weeks, but I still think it's got plenty of room to grow. It's a phenomenal project. It is a straight Ethereum competitor, and we can get into specifics of that later. But for now, I just kind of want to express how right now the times in the crypto space are very similar to the times in the 2017 bull run when Bitcoin touched 20K for the first time. And a lot of the patterns that I'm seeing now are very similar. And one of those patterns is that money starts trickling down from the higher market cap coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum to the medium market cap coins like Cardano, Link, Stellar, Luminon, to the smaller market cap coins. And with this waterfall trickle down effect, there's a very high, and this is not financial advice, you will lose a lot of money. There is a lot of probability that you will make some decent returns if you play your cards right and you follow those patterns. Because right now we are entering a bull market in the entire crypto sphere. If you have been living under a rock, then sorry, but crypto right now is booming, and it's mostly thanks to Elon Musk and Tesla investing into Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin had already been at a pretty high price. It was like around $32,000 to $38,000, but this solidified the future.
I mean, it shot up from its new high. I mean, like we hit a high on January 9th of 41,000, right? And somewhere around there. And then, it was coming down, and I even made a video about it, potentially crashing. The concerns about inflation weren't too high. And then we had this black swan event of Elon Musk suddenly like just having a revelation of how cryptocurrency might actually become the future, which is odd to think about, but it's also makes perfect sense in hindsight. And then we have this huge pump with them saying, hey, we actually reserved $1.5 billion of Bitcoin for our reserves for Tesla, setting the trend now for other companies. I mean, I know the CEO of Overstock, which is a company that sells, it's kind of like a competitor to Amazon, kind of. But the CEO of Overstock, he has a lot of Bitcoin. He's pro Bitcoin. I mean, Square, for example.
Square too, right? Yeah, Jack Dorsey is a huge fan of Bitcoin.
Which is Cash App, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's been shooting up lately. Oh, look, Bitcoin is at 45,000, down from 46. Maybe it's going to crash.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
So what does this mean in regards to investment news? That this means, like, okay, we just had the Wall Street bets phenomena not too long ago, and that has kind of died down. So where is money going to now? Is it maybe going back to SPACs, kind of back to where we were at the beginning of this year? Or is it just going to crypto? The two are probably very likely, but where can you make the most money? I believe crypto, if you play your cards right and you do some pretty good research. There's a lot of new innovation, especially this time around compared to 2017. There's a lot of issues that need to get resolved and a lot of projects out there trying to resolve those issues. I know right now with Ethereum, if you want to trade Ethereum tokens, that is projects that were developed on top of the Ethereum smart contract protocol, that right now is kind of expensive. So there's this thing called gas, which is what you pay for transactions to buy tokens that are Ethereum based. And that is one major issue. They are very expensive right now compared to times where markets were not as volatile. And so there are a lot of projects kind of targeting that issue right now, Cardano being one of them. And that is why I'm very bullish on Cardano, just because that is one major problem. So if you can just find cryptocurrencies that are solving a major problem nowadays that we're experiencing, then you can potentially make a lot of money. Why? Because the space is still so nascent. So if you can learn those way arounds faster and sooner than the grand majority of people, mind you, a lot of people are still not in the space, nor have any idea how to get into the space.
Yeah.
So if you can just put in that extra effort, right, that extra bit of research, there's a lot of resources out there, YouTube, Twitter, believe it or not. If you can just put in that extra effort, you can make some serious cash. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I did not know anything back in 2017, and I made a buttload of money. Now times are different. I'm a little more experienced, and there are more resources out there. And if I can do it, so can you. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Is all I want to add.
Just to emphasize Elihu's point about how nascent or new this currency is there's an estimated 11% of Americans who currently own Bitcoin or hold Bitcoin. In 2021, over 100 million Bitcoin wallets with value now exist. Now, that's very low. I mean, when you think about a population of the world of 7 billion people, 100 million wallets, and 11% of America is starkingly low. And also, in regard to what Elihu talked about with gas and all this stuff about transactions, basically a transaction fee.
Yeah.
A transaction fee.
There's no.
There are transaction fees when you trade crypto, though, which is what you called gas.
Well, there's also transaction fees if you use a brokerage that doesn't rely on decentralization, like Binance or Bitrex or Coinbase. Coinbase's fees are ridiculous, but that's a different topic.
But most of these competitors are basically trying to balance or play against in a competitive landscape on who has the least fees, the most amount of use and efficiency in use, and basically holding the system together through the various servers around the world, and pretty much who can dominate. And Cardano looks like quite the competitor to, say, something like Ethereum. Elihu has mentioned before that it's even a competitor to Bitcoin.
It's more of a competitor to Ethereum. I mean, the founder is Charles Hoskinson, who was a co-founder of Ethereum along with Vitalik. But Vitalik fired him back in the day, and Charles Hoskinson started the Cardano project in order to kind of get back and make what he wanted Ethereum to be, which was a more, well, what it currently is it's a way more decentralized protocol than what Ethereum is. And okay, I'm going to go into the more techie side. So Ethereum right now, it is a protocol. It is responsible for smart contracts. You've probably heard the term smart contracts. And what that means is that, what a protocol means is that it is a set of rules or guidelines in which other projects can build on top of and create a good amount of security and reliability. What that entails, though, is that if you want to trade these projects, also known as ERC tokens, if you build on top of the Ethereum protocol, you are an EOC token. If you are an EOC token, you are communicating with the Ethereum protocol. In order to make transactions, it's basically a language barrier. So that requires a transaction fee. And depending on how volatile the markets are, how the volume is, how many people are currently trading, that transaction fee can be very high. I mean, if we go to Ethereum gas station right now, ETH gas station, we can look at the amounts that transactions cost. This is a major issue that companies such as Cardano are trying to solve. Major Ethereum competitor. The difference is Cardano is not a protocol in which companies can start building on top of. It is a protocol in which companies can build inside of. So there's not going to be that language barrier. The cost of transactions will not be that high. I actually don't know how they're going to deal with that. They're releasing their Gogan mainnet later this year, which is going to entail all of that. And that is why I personally am very bullish on a project like Cardano. I mean, if we go to its most all-time high, which was in 2018, it was at around $1.20. It's currently at 70 cents. I think it can go a lot higher than that with all the things it has coming out, because it's not only going to come out with its own Ethereum competitor protocol, it's going to come out with an ERC token converter. So if you build
hold up, let's slow it down. An EOC and then an ERC. What is an EOC?
I didn't say EOC, I said ERC.
Yeah, no, you said ERC right now, but then you mentioned an EOC built on top of something. So just, what is an ERC precisely?
So an ERC is just a token built on top of the Ethereum.
But what does the acronym mean?
I have no idea.
It's like a term that's used to describe a protocol that's built on top of another protocol.
I'm not actually sure what ERC means. Let me look it up. Ethereum request for comments.
Interesting. ERC is an acronym that stands for Ethereum Request for Comments. The most common ERC standard uses the date is ERC20, a type of standard that makes the creation, use, and exchange of Ethereum based on tokens quite simple. Okay, so I mean, so it's basically like Cardano builds upon. Cardano is trying to not build upon Ethereum, right?
Right. So
But other coins do.
Yeah, so let's say your dog walking company wanted to start a cryptocurrency. Right now they can either decide to go on Ethereum, or they can wait for Cardano's Gogan mainnet to launch. But if you go the Ethereum route, you're gonna build on top of Ethereum and their smart contract protocol. But if you do the Cardano way, you build in Cardano. So the transaction fees for people to buy and invest in your cryptocurrency won't be as high.
Right. And then an EOC you mentioned?
I think I meant ERC.
Oh, you meant EOC.
Yeah.
So ERC is basically just, request.
Yeah, pretty much.
So request for comment.
It's almost like an interface.
And so, like, let's say, so you're saying if I wanted to raise money for my dog walking company, I would go on Ethereum and be like, hey, I'm requesting that this coin, dog walking plus Filecoin, dog walking plus coin, it would be, I want to raise money on it. So I'm requesting Ethereum to basically host it, but they charge me a fee of $220 if it's super fast, or $135 for a standard, right? And so I have to pay that if I want to raise money, pretty much, right?
No, other people have to pay that.
Other people pay
if
that.
they want to buy.
So I put that on top of my coin price. So basically I want to list my coin for, 1 cent.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a cent plus $135.
Right.
But this is a US currency?
I believe so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely absurd. Or is this 135?
No, this is gas prices in GUI, which is gas. Yeah.
GUI is gas.
Yeah, so we look at GUI against the US dollar.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh, okay. So 612,000 GUI is $1. Doesn't seem right.
Wow, 612 US. So it's less than $1. But pretty much it's a race against these transaction fees. Regardless of how low it is, because a big appeal to cryptocurrency is that you don't have to pay, say for example, when you're sending money to another country from the US, you have to pay like 2% up to sometimes 10% to 12% transaction fee to send that money with TransUnion or a bank. Wiring the money is expensive. And when you're dealing with cryptocurrency, it's way cheaper. Because people, there's the transaction fee is pennies. And with Ethereum, although it is still pennies, I mean, $1 is valued at 612,000 GUI. And so when we're looking at it that way, it's still relatively cheap. But then these other companies are saying, hey, forget these 612,000 GUI for $1.
We live in the future.
We live in the future. So a dollar relative to our platform, you won't even reach $1. It would be 1 million GUI or whatever. Or actually, scratch that. It'd be less GUI. So instead of 216 for a trader to use, it would probably be like 100. Maybe it might be the standard, and that would be the appeal. So it's a race against micro pennies relative to the US dollar. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, and there are other competitors in the space. I know Polkadot is doing something similar. Polkadot is also founded by another Ethereum co-founder that got fired by Vitalik. Vitalik likes firing people, apparently. And it's all just a matter of who's going to win the race at the end of the day in this giant sphere of innovation and problems to solve. But, yeah, that's a project I'm personally bullish on. It's done great so far from my entry point. And I think
I think we got it on the same time around like 30 cents.
Yeah.
It's at like 60 right now.
Yeah.
So we've doubled our money, and some change. And we'll see how it does later on. That's one of many other investments. We go into stocks. Now we're going to do real estate. And it's something that I think that you all should also be aware of. At the same time, these things are all well and good. The market's going up. But at the same time, be cautious, because at the end of the day, what goes up must come down. And as much as Elon Musk, Papa Elon, is pumping these stocks and pumping these ideas, at some point people are going to sell. I mean, these are life-changing amounts of money.
You don't want to be a bag holder at the end of the day.
Precisely.
So be very cautious. And that's not to say that all asset classes are going to crash.
No, they never do.
It's mainly to say that if the stock market were to take a massive correction, which it's kind of overdue for one, it would be wise to start shifting into other asset classes. And now that crypto is becoming a more sophisticated asset class, it would be wise to highly consider it, aside from real estate or gold.
But don't put your life savings in it.
Right.
Right. I mean,
diversification.
Let's be real. I mean, at the end of the day, like, these are very interesting utilities, and they're probably going to gain a lot more momentum in the coming years, as they already have. I mean, but people are investing in these things just because they're cryptocurrencies or whatever. Like, people don't really understand this stuff, at least the vast majority. And I mean, if anything that we've said today has helped you better understand, then I can tip my hat and say we'll do another episode again and explain it even further. But at the end of the day, just invest your money. I mean, you will lose money if you invest with us or if you even take any of our advice, but just invest your money, build a long-term investment portfolio, get your act together. I mean, think about the next couple of years, because, money drives this world, or crypto drives this world, but you're going to need some kind of currency, and the best currency to purchase crypto is the US dollar. I mean,
evidently.
Yeah. I mean, we're all weighting it against the US dollar and all this stuff. But if you have other currencies like the yen or the rupee, purchase some of this stuff and just watch it grow. And, we don't know what the hell is going to happen in the market. I mean, but things are just booming right now, and there's still going to be more time. And we just came out of a terrible pandemic, and, people are just itching and scratching to just get some type of excitement and just see growth happen.
And I just want to add that, sure, the $1.5 billion investment by Tesla into Bitcoin is a pretty cool catalyst, but also the whole events with Robinhood, halting trading. The crypto space has a thing called decentralized exchanges, which I think it's really cool and could use a lot more innovation, but it's pretty sophisticated enough where it's awesome. I mean, the main one right now is Uniswap, and if we pull up Uniswap, it's actually really cool. Like, their icon or their logo is a unicorn. But this exchange is one of the most popular exchanges right now, aside from Binance and maybe Gemini. But in this exchange, everything is completely decentralized. There is no centralized rule of government. And that, I think, is extraordinary, especially with just happening with Robinhood and them being in control of your funds. I mean, that was just, if anything, a sign that we need to move more into this direction.
Yeah, so pretty much what Uniswap allows you to do is invest in cryptocurrencies that maybe you hear about through TikTok or Instagram or Reddit or whatever, and that you can't necessarily buy off of, like, Coinbase. This is a Coinbase right here. That maybe you can't even get Cardano. This is Cardano's not supported on Coinbase. Filecoin, I don't know if that. I think Filecoin is supported on Coinbase. You can get Filecoin on Gemini. So look into, I mean, if you want to put your money into some of these things, go on. I mean, the more unique ones, the more growth rate ones that Elihu talks about and he finds, those are, like, you're more likely to benefit from them using Uniswap. And Uniswap is free. You can figure out how to use it. It's really not that challenging. It's exactly the same as exchanging currency at an airport. Or, I mean, if you want to trade your dollars for yen, you go to an airport, they'll exchange it for you and they charge you a fee. It's the same thing.
It's just called swapping.
It's just called Uniswap, cryptocurrency, decentralized, whatever. At the end of the day, it's just foreign exchange at an airport. It's not that complicated. And, at the end of sometimes you get a currency that goes up in value relative to what you traded it for. And then you can sell that currency to get what you really use, which is US dollar or it might be rupee or whatever. But still, like, so check out Gemini, check out Uniswap, check out Coinbase. Bittrex is also an interesting trading platform that I personally use. But be cautious. It looks like we're in the last inning, but who knows? I could be wrong. But still, I mean, even then, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, we buy more at the dip, and if I'm wrong, then keep it going. Invest now and bet on prosperity, just like Papa Elon has, right, at the end of the day. So this has been a wild ride for sure. And I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to this? I really don't think. I don't know. Are there any other platforms that maybe we could direct people toward to try out cryptocurrency investing? I mean, the easiest is Coinbase for sure.
I guess we could talk about staking. Talk about staking.
Staking. Yeah. So staking is like lending your money out to people.
So just think of staking in terms of income wise. It's just getting paid dividends, but in this case, you're not putting a stock up for use by other third parties. You are just putting staking is just putting your coins out to help facilitate the decentralization or the network in which that cryptocurrency is built on. So I'm staking Cardano right now, and I get paid rewards in Cardano by having my coins, my ADA tokens up for staking. And it's really cool. It's a really cool form of passive income. Other coins do the same thing. I'm not really sure what other coins do staking. I'm really just familiar with Cardano, but they offer higher percent APY rewards, which is
basically like a dividend.
Yeah, it's more.
Year. Yeah. I mean, some coins give you 4% a year. Some coins give you like 7% a year.
Yeah,
relative to how much.
But
staking is basically like you're lending your money to a bank. It's like you're depositing your money in a bank in a savings account, and they're paying you money to basically not just like use it. Because think about the economy. The economy is one person's income is another person's. So one person's spending is another person's income.
Yeah.
And so when people spend less, or when people who have a lot of money and they don't spend it, they put it in a bank, and the bank lends it out to people so they can do other interesting projects, or to help the value of the currency go up because it's becomes more scarce. So when you stake coins, some coins give you a higher dividend yield than others. Cardano gives you 4%.
4.7,
4.7%. 4.7% a year. But something like Filecoin gives you like a 7% a year, just for holding it. But they serve different use cases. They don't want you to sell that much. And I mean, what you really need to understand is that even though you are being offered 7% or 4%, the higher the percentage yield, the riskier it is. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's kind of like a street guy, saying like, "Hey, you want to buy stocks? So it'll double your money right now. Come on!" Like,
if it sounds really good to be true,
it's too good.
It's probably too good.
But still, I mean, 7% isn't crazy. I mean, you can get 7% on real estate. I mean, for an investment. I mean, granted, you might have to fix it up.
But you're putting more up front. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, you
kind of have to have money to make money in this scenario.
I think it's funny, but I mean, at the end of the day, staking is another way for you to make money without having to actually trade.
Yeah.
So you just buy, and then you just stake it. And Gemini allows you to stake coins like Filecoin. Like I'm doing that currently as well. And I haven't got into Cardano staking, but this stuff can go to zero, baby. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's just like you gotta know. You have to know and not be okay with maybe losing this money, because investing, although it could be great, it's like growing a plant. Like a plant isn't 100% going to bloom. Even if you water it every day and you give it the nice soil, the probability of it blooming is higher if you make sure to keep your eye on it, water it. But sometimes you get a bad seed, and a bad seed could be a cryptocurrency, it could be a bad stock. The great thing about Bitcoin though is that it's like now with Elon Musk, it's just never going to go to zero.
No.
It's never going to go to zero.
No chance.
But as company like Uber, Lyft, I mean, I love Uber and Lyft. I mean, but let's say like Lehman Brothers, for example, the bank in 2008 that crashed, they go to zero. They go away. You will lose your money if in the stock market, companies go away. But in crypto space, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, like these things will not lose value now. So I mean, there is at least that some of assurance.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, you want to support us, we got some merch. We got some new shirts too. They are a tribute to the Wall Street Bets Diamond Hands.
Oh yeah, let's pull that up.
So they're really cool, and I like the design a lot personally.
Diamond hands, baby.
Diamond hands, no paper hands here. It's a concept that I think can be applicable to anything in related to investing. Right? I mean, if you have a stock, you really believe in the stock. You have crypto, you really believe in crypto. Just hold on to it. It'll probably do well. Thanks for listening. Make sure to leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube and smash that like button. And if you're just listening to us, then really, really appreciate you.
Giving us a rating on the podcast, like that's
Can you do
actually,
that?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
At least on Apple Podcast. It's like give us as many stars as you think we're redeemable for.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.